Alright everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. So not going to have too much of an update stuff before we dive into the Yona volume here. I'll probably try to do a channel update maybe next week sometime, depending on how things shake out or things. But yeah, just a couple of things to touch on, I guess, before we get into the read-through proper. First of all is my good friend, the Black Manga Critic, is making a return back to his channel. So if you haven't subscribed to him already, if you like my content, and are looking for something similar to it, something that's thoughtful, insightful, political, stuff like that, definitely give his channel a look. I'll link it down in the description below. But yeah, go give him a hello, tell him welcome back. It's good to see him back on here as well. So that's news number one, I guess. Number two is, like I said, channel update sometime next week probably. Like I finally promised, I'm getting around to the Yona of the Dawn videos. I'm going to try to catch up with them this week, so hopefully I'll start making some headway through that. Then once I've caught up with that, like I said, I'll announce the next couple of read-throughs coming up on the channel now that Lazarus has been done. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I expect Spy and hopefully Kaiju videos today as well sometime. If not, the latest it'll be out will be tomorrow. No Shonen Jump today, that's the other thing I forgot. No Shonen Jump today is coming out tomorrow, so expect the One Piece review. Then we got a couple of things to talk about with that. With that said, without further ado, I know it's been a while, I can't remember. I think it's only been at least a couple of weeks, but we're back with Yona of the Dawn, Volume 13. So let's dive straight into it with Chapter 71, Mandate from Heaven. And we pick up with back on the battlefield, as we have Kang Soo-jin was bursting with confidence. You have Cavalry, Squad 1, forward. The Royal Regiment's power and Suwon's leadership skills had been carefully accounted for when he made his plans. Things that are said before a massive L. He had no cause for concern. He fully believed that the Fire Tribe would be victorious. And you see a charge as all the forces start running to all the horse cavalry start running forward. And you have Kang Soo-jin going, "Pit traps, you say?" And you see one of his men reporting going, "Yes, sir. The Sky Tribe troops have prepared several pit traps in front of their formation." And he's like, "Oh, so that's how they decided to position themselves in this field." It's like, "Where are the pit traps?" "In front of the formation, on both sides." And you see a and I cannot remember what the hell Bandit Bro's name is. I'm sure it'll come back to me at some point. Oh, Bandit Bro's just looking at him funny as Sujin's just cackling to himself with the and he's like, "What's so funny?" He's like, "Well, they frantically threw together a battle plan, but it leaked to the enemy." God, this guy's such an idiot. "But it leaked to the enemy, us. I almost feel sorry for them." And Bandit Bro's like, "You mean the pit traps?" It's like, "It's an embarrassingly amateur plan. But that's their problem, not ours. The pit traps are only at the front sides of the formation. We have an elite cavalry squad that specializes in mobile attacks at the head of our troops. They'll charge in, break through the center of the enemy forces." Hazara is the Bandit Bro's name. Hazara. I don't know what the hell the rest of his name is, but I have part of it is Hazara. And you see a little diagram drawing with little arrows pointing towards where the troops are going to be breaking in. And you see Sen Province troops on one side, Fire Tribe troops on the other side, arrow style, dodging through the pit in the front, breaking through into the troops behind into Suwon's. And they'll charge in, break through the center of the enemy forces, and take Suwon's head. We won't need to go near the pit traps at all. He goes, "Go forth, my brethren. Crush Suwon." And you see, their cavalry has moved toward the center. It's like, "Never mind that. Press onward." You go, "Huh? Wait. What? Do you see that? Tigers!" Oh, fuck off. What the hell? Oh, fuck. I thought this was going to be like an illusion, but no, they have actual tigers. What the fuck, bro? Yeah, tigers! There are tigers! It's like, "You fool. How can the Royal Regiment have tigers?" You go, pull back! Pull back! And you have "Impossible!" And you see them just clopping forward full speed. And you have a "Gah!" as the tigers just start leaping onto them. And you have Sujin going, What's happening at the front? Jeff, tigers! The Sky Tribe is using tigers! God, this is so ridiculous. Oh, of course, it had to. Of course, it's a goddamn trick. And he's like, tigers? Jeff, ah! As the cavalry just being reared up and thrown by their horses. And you see, as the forces are making their way through, cutting through the horsemen, you see that one of the guards sees that they've apparently just disguised their horses with, like, tiger skin, like, face rugs and pelts to make them look like tigers, but it's just, like, it's an actual just costume. Jeff, stay calm! They're horses disguised as tigers! They're not real! Jeff, this is unbelievable. They disguise their horses as tigers to trick us. They use sheer terror to disrupt our elite cavalry squad. And you see Suwon just staring at them with intense concentration. And you see Sujin just gritting his teeth and going, you brat. And so the Fire Tribe cavalrymen at the front lines were obstructed. However, the attacking forces still had more soldiers than the Sky Tribe. The Allied forces had nearly reached the center of the Sky Tribe's front lines. As you press onward, hit the center and scatter them! And you see as they're going forward, the Sky Tribe's got like a wall of shields in front of them. And behind them you have archers at the ready with their bows drawn. And you see Cree and a whip as they let the arrows fly. Do you have arrows? The sky's full of them! Do you have as the cavalrymen are just getting shot down by the arrow hailstorm. Do you have they're firing at us from both sides! Pull back! Pull back! So deal with the archer squads first. So, but there are pit traps in front of them. You see the Fire Tribe just trying to regroup. And you have, it's no good. We can't get near them. It's like the archer squads on both sides of the formation are aiming at our forces between them. It's like, their pit traps are forcing us to push our troops through the center. Even if we wanted to take out the archers, the pit traps are holding us back. And you see Hazara going, you were so focused on those pit traps that you failed to predict their strategy at all. God, this dumb ass. You going, is it possible that intel was leaked to us on purpose? It's like, no shit, bro. Like, even I could tell that's the way it was going. And he goes, Lord Sujin, I'd say it's time you stopped underestimating him. And you have King Suwon? May I ask why you made sure they heard about the pit traps? If they'd fallen in, our archers could have won this battle without much trouble at all. And Suwon goes, who are we fighting? He's like, the Fire Tribe in Sen Province. And he goes, the Fire Tribe are citizens of our kingdom. Blood will be shed to create this new era. It's my job to ensure that we lose as few citizens as possible today. He's like, so, we have to keep the pressure on. I doubt they'll let things end so quickly. And you see on the other side, the Fire Tribe are firing back with their own arrows, I assume, to try to break the shields. And you have now, as they kind of raise their shields up to the sky to kind of block the hail of arrows. And Hazara goes, you won't beat us so easily, young king. We have our own well-trained elite squads. If we get close enough, the Sky Tribe's arrows won't hurt us. And you have Sujin going, our allied forces have charged into the center of their troops. You fools! We finally regained our original formation. We'll lose some soldiers, but no matter. Our only concern is defeating Suwon. Keep going, our palace was within sight. And you see the cavalry just tramping over the shield bearers and striking them down. And you have the allied forces broke through the center of the Sky Tribe formation. They carved their way through enemy lines. Unable to withstand their momentum, the Sky Tribe's troops slowly pulled back. And you see Sujin just going, I knew it. I knew it. I was right. The heavens have chosen me as king. Want to just slight, we'll pause here to say if you hear dogs barking that's coming from outside, I've got the windows open to try and get some airflow in here to kind of kill a little bit of heat. Because it's not as bad as it was in the summer, but it's still a little bit warm. So if you hear some sporadic barking, that's what it is, but it shouldn't be too distracting, I hope. So, yeah. But back to I might have slightly underestimated Suwon. But the tide of battle is in our favor now. And he tells Hazara, I'm heading up there. It's my duty to take Suwon's head. Jeff, however, King Sujin's mistake wasn't his failure to see through Suwon's plan. It was something he never anticipated at all. the footsteps that heralded the battle's end. You see a whoosh, and he had crept up unnoticed behind him. And you see Guntei with an army of his followers up on one of the hills going, "Sorry to keep you waiting, Sky Tribe." And he's like, "The Earth Tribe flag? Guntei!" And Hazara's like, "What? They have reinforcements?" And you see Suwon just with this cocky, confident smile as Guntei goes, "We haven't seen battle for a while. Unleash yourselves today." And they're like, "Rah!" It's like, "Follow me." "You have his incredible praise, General Guntei. Take me, sir, take me. Right here on the battlefield." You have a clop, 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 clop as his cavalry goes strushing straight into the Fire Tribe forces. And you see he is completely breaking up their right flank. You have the Earth Tribe arrive just behind the Fire Tribe troops' right flank. Their spirited attack shattered the Allied forces' formation. Jeff, why is Guntei doing this? How is it possible? Guntei and his troops will only fight for someone he fully acknowledges as his lord. And you see Suwon had already formed a strong, trusting relationship with Guntei. Not accounting for that was Kang Soo-jin's greatest miscalculation. And you see a Squad 3, stay close to His Majesty. And you have a Chak as one of the Fire Tribe soldiers tries to sneak up on bodyguard bro. I cannot remember half these names, so you're going to have to forgive me. With Suwon's bodyguard bro, when someone's trying to sneak up on him, and you see Guntei coming up behind, slashing him down. He goes, "I never thought I'd see you wielding those two swords in battle again." And he's like, "Huh, what a flashy entrance." He's like, "You think?" As the soldier tries to stand up behind Guntei, he just smacks him in the face with a backhand. He's like, "I think I used to be much flashier. So your tribe always makes such a ruckus." And then he starts laughing. He's like, "Wah! So what's with this funny tiger horse?" He's like, "Oh, shut up." He's like, "I didn't want to put this reeking pelt on my favorite horse." It's like part of His Majesty's plan. He's like, "Yes. There aren't actually any pit traps either. We just need to convince them that there were." He's like, "Oh? Yeah, if the battle's decided. Look, the Sen Province troops are withdrawing." And bodyguard bro goes, "This battle was decided from the moment we placed our troops here." Jeff, "Our king's a scary one." Jeff, "Retreat! Retreat!" And Hazara's like, "We came all the way for this?" And then it's like, "General, shall we retreat? General!" And Soo-jin's like, "No, not yet. It's not over." You have, "Kill him! Kill Suwon!" Jeff, "Retreat!" So we're just sounding the retreat. Jeff, "Lord Hazara, we've exhausted our supplies." It's like, "That's fine. Steal what we need from the villages. Trample them and burn them down. I won't be satisfied with anything less." Jeff, "What's going on? A battle?" And you see clop, 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 clop as the cavalry's heading towards the village. And you see, "Ah!" slash as a mysterious hooded stranger cuts them down, cuts down the cavalry. Jeff, "What?" And a swing, you see Huck just putting his little blade on his shoulder as he's riding the horse with Yona in front of him. You have Chapter 72, The One Who Leads. Give me a second here. I'm just going to close the windows because the dog thing's getting annoying. Alright. So you have, "What?" You have, It's like you've stumbled into a battle. You should leave before you get caught up in it. You have, "We're going!" And Hazara's like, "You're not sky soldiers, are you?" And you see, it's Re Hazara of Sen Province. "Take your soldiers and leave quietly. You've invaded this kingdom. If you try to terrorize its citizens, you won't get out of here alive." And he's like, "Deal with them." He's like, "Yeah, yes, sir." As another one of the horsemen tries to charge on Huck and Yona. And he's a clop clop as Gija's dragon hand just grabs his face and just sends him flying into the ground. You're like, "What?" It's like, "What's wrong with that arm?" It's like, he's a monster. It's like, "Shoot him! Do it now!" And you see, Jeha flying above them with his leg as he's got his daggers out. I was like, "He's flying?" And you have a talk. I was like, "Ah!" And then you see, God, why can I not remember names today? Give me a second, hold on. You have Sinha also in the thick of battle, just cutting down soldiers left and right. And Hazara is just watching all of this in shock and awe. He's like, what is this? There are bizarre monsters among the people of this nation. And then you see from his horse Suwon going, has there been any movements in the Fire Tribe base? You have not yet. And Bodyguard Bro goes, I doubt Sujin will surrender so easily. We broke the Fire Tribe formations first because demoralizing them was the quickest way to end this. And Suwon goes, the soldiers should reach their breaking point soon. You have General Sujin. The Sen province troops are still retreating. Some of our soldiers have been captured by the Royal Regiment. General, we can't hold out any longer. We should retreat. Truthfully, we ought to surrender. And that gets him mad as he goes, what did you say to me? Oh, God. He takes out his sword and lops off the guard's head. And he goes, surrender? Surrender? You want to surrender? Impossible. That could never happen. I am the Crimson Dragon King. You want me to surrender to that fake king? Come, true soldiers of the Fire Tribe, subjects of the Crimson Dragon King. Give your lives for your king. Fight to the last man, to your last breath. This isn't over. That wretched boy is still alive. Your king is in front of you. Hiryu Palace. The Crimson Palace is right before your eyes. Fight! Fight on! Keep fighting! You can see his soldiers are just completely demoralized and broken. And they have absolutely lost any will to keep fighting. And you hear a, withdraw your soldiers, General Sujin. And you see Yona and Ko coming up. And he goes, you? You're still alive? You see the soldiers whispering among themselves going, who's she? And, God. Yun's going, this is bad. Yona never left the palace, so the Fire Tribe soldiers don't seem to recognize her. But it won't be long. And she goes, you're one of Koka's 5 generals, and yet you've committed a serious crime. You've also slain one of your own soldiers. Will you squander their lives? And he goes, heh, the little girl thinks to lecture me? I am returning to Hiryu Palace as the Crimson Dragon King. My soldiers should feel honored to open a path for me. That's what it means to be a proud citizen of the Fire Tribe. And she goes, your arrogance is breathtaking. You don't even realize how many of your people's entire lives are spent keeping you alive. You are not fit to rule anyone. And he goes, kill her! Kill her! That girl, the people with her! Cut them down! Remove them from my sight! And you see the soldiers surrounding her. As Jeha goes, think we'll make it out alive? And Yun's like, don't say that, Jeha. And then Gijo's like, what do you mean? This'll be easy. It's like that freaky optimism is the only good thing about you, White Snake. And he has Zeno just cheerleading in the background, like, Zeno's rooting for everyone! He's like, Sujin, there's one thing I want to tell you. Taejun's approach to leading the Fire Tribe bears no resemblance to yours at all. I'd love it if you could see him in action. She kind of just gives him a gentle smile. And you see, yeah! As the troops rush forward. And you see an ah! As Jeha just smacks him around with his leg. And Gija does the same with his claw. Jeff, rein it in a little, Gija. He's like, I already am. Killing these poor soldiers is not what Her Highness wishes. And you have Hak going, Princess, Yun, stay behind me. And you see Yun just putting his arms out trying to defend Yona going. And she goes, it's fine, Yun, I can fight. He's like, but it's like the only thing I can do is act as your shield. And you see a general obsessed with the throne, soldiers who have no choice but to fight, and a threat from another nation. Things can't continue like this. They're all citizens of Koka. They mustn't be at each other's throats. And you hear King Suwon. He's like, have they made a move? It's like, actually, a handful of unidentified people have broken into the Fire Tribe ranks and have started fighting them. It's like, unidentified? It's like they seem to have incredible powers. They're mowing down the Fire Tribe soldiers. He's like, I'll take a look. He's like, your Majesty! It's like, please turn around. You can't just wander off. He's like, a moment. It's just for a moment, General. Judo. That's who it is, I think. And you see, this nation needs a leader. Someone with a tremendous strength to unite everyone. And you see, it's kind of adorable. You see, he's got like this giant shield out and he's just like couching behind it, holding it up, playing defense as Yona's firing arrows into the crowd. And then you hear a scream as you see a hawk flying nearby as it comes into land on Suwon's shoulder. And you see her and Suan and Yona exchanging glances of surprise as you have, that's why you took our nation's throne, isn't it? You have chapter 73, Dreams of the King in the Wilderness. And you see Hawk going, what's wrong here? And he sees where her gaze is going. And you can see just the rage radiating through him as he lays his eyes on Suan. And he just clenches his halberd in his hand, just like, I think? No, it's not drawn blood, much see shadow. And you see Judo coming up behind him with a clop, clop, clop. And Your Majesty! And Gunte on the other side going, what's this about people with amazing powers? And you see them all just staring down in surprise as Judo goes, that's... And you have Yun going, this is bad. Sky Tribe troops are gathering. It's like, Yona, let's retreat! It's like, Yona! And you see that her and Suan are still have locked glances. And Yona kind of just closes her eyes first and turns around and goes, we're retreating. Hawk and Gija, make us an exit. And he goes, leave it to me. And she's like, Hawk? It's like, I'm on it. You have Jeha, take care of Her Highness and Yun. It's like, I know. It's like, are you guarding the rear blue dragon? It's like, Zeno will join you. It's like, get going, Zeno. It's like, what? And you have General Judo. I can't see clearly from this distance, but that man with the glaive, could it be? And you hear a, shall we capture him? And you see Suan just looking thoughtful still. You have some bandits from who knows where, probably stumbled into the battle. Ignore them. And you have, but capturing General Sujin is our top priority. Don't bother with bandits. You have, yes, sir. And you see Gunte also looking at Suan, who's still kind of frozen. And you have Sujin going, what are you doing? After them! And you see he finally spots Suan. You have His Majesty, King Suan. And you have, fire at him! Shoot Suan! If we kill him, we'll carry the day. It's like, what's the matter? Do it quickly! And you see the soldiers have no fight left in them. And he goes, you cowards! As he pulls out a bow and arrow. And you have Judo going, please step back, Your Majesty! As Gunte goes charging down at the hill towards him. And you have, I'm ending this now, Suan. Oh, god damn. You have a shunk. As you see from behind, someone's pierced King Sujin from behind with a blade. And as he coughs out a spurt of blood, you see this one of his soldiers has impaled him through with the spear. With the look of like despair on his face. And you see him stagger and falling off his horse. And that's what you have him, Sujin, wheezing. As the soldier drops his spear. He goes, Lord Sujin, you are no longer the Crimson Dragon King we looked up to. Not anymore. Yeah, Father! And you see him thinking back to his two kids. Going, Father, the Fire Tribe are descendants of the Crimson Dragon King, right? That makes you the Crimson Dragon King, doesn't it, Father? He's like, that's right. I'm almost there. Soon, I'll give you Hiryu Palace. That Crimson Palace. I'm almost there. And it was Kyoga, Taejun. And you see a tear just spilling from his eyes as he lays there and dies. And you see everyone kind of just solemnly watching him. With General Sujin's death, the Fire Tribe's rebellion came to an end. The Fire Tribe soldiers were suppressed by the Royal Regiment, and Rihazar retreated to Sen Province with the surviving soldiers. As for the red-haired girl and her companions who appear on the battlefield, they vanished as if they'd never been there at all. You see later at Saika Palace, you have Suan going, raise your head, Lord Kyoga. And you see Kyoga goes, I am the son of a criminal. My father colluded with Sen Province. He orchestrated invasion by an enemy nation and pretended to seek assistance from Your Majesty. He started a war. Inviting foreign troops into our kingdom is an act of treason. My father died on the field and cannot atone for his sins. I am the son of the Fire Tribe's chief. I must atone in his stead. But I beg you to spare my mother's life and that of my younger brother Taejun. My head alone may not be recompense enough for such a dire crime, but please, Please, I beg for your mercy. And you see Suwon looking at him before he goes, Lord Kyoga, were you aware of your father's plan? He goes, my ignorance is a sin. And he goes, the lands of the Fire Tribe are barren. Growing crops here is very difficult. What's more, as it shares a border with the Kai Empire, it has endured significant hardships. Building military might under such conditions is nearly impossible. General Sujin's actions were unacceptable, but you've done the right things for the Fire Tribe. I've watched you train your soldiers. And Kyoga's taken aback by this. He goes, what? It's like, your leadership skill is impressive. Leading so many soldiers is no easy task. Lord Kyoga, you are a wise man. The Fire Tribe cannot spare you. And he's like, what is this king saying? He's like, I'm the son of a traitor to this nation. And he goes, you're obstinate, aren't you? I'm saying you're the only one who can lead the Fire Tribe. As king of all Koka, I have orders for you. Kang Kyoga, you will serve as one of the 5 generals of Koka. I appoint you chief of the Fire Tribe. And he's like, tribe? Chief? Me? After all that's happened? And Gunte goes, king's orders. And Judo's like, there will doubtless be an official appointment at the 5 Tribe Council soon. You're quite popular in Saika. This is likely what the citizens of Saika would want to happen. That said, you are ignorant of what goes on outside of Saika. He's like, that's not true. I know how things are outside of Saika. He's like, then shall we go take a look? I've heard some interesting things about what your younger brother Taejun is doing out there. Oh, man. All right, you have chapter 74, a flower blooming in your footprint. Jeff, Taejun is in this village? It's like, yes, my sources say so. It's like, that can't be. He'd never come to such a rundown place. Surely he's off being useless in some government office. Besides, I sent him to deal with some bandits, and I see a Taejun just comes running by full speed with a young child in his arms going, make way, make way, make way! And you have an oof as he knocks Taejun out of the way. And you have, what's wrong with him, Lord Taejun? Or as he longs Kyoga out of the way, sorry. It's like, what's wrong with him, Lord Taejun? It's like a dreadful fever. Where's the doctor? It's like, you went to Shu village today. It's like, what about the clinic? It's like, there are no beds available. It's like, alright, we'll open up my room. It's like, Lord Taejun. It's like, it's fine. I need to decoct some herbs. Boil some water, please. It's like, Lord Taejun, Enli village report many injuries after Sen province troops passed through. And he's like, what? Get aid from a government office immediately. Is Granny Kune alright? You see, Taejun's not here. He's... And you see Kyoga's just in complete denial. As Suwon's like, no, he's right over there, isn't he? That is Lord Taejun, isn't it? And he's like, no longer sure. He's asking Judo. He's like, maybe we came to the wrong village? And you see Taejun just like tying a mask around his face, all bandit style as he goes, the illness may be contagious, so I'll cover my mouth. Jeff, Lord Taejun. So yes, Hook-Chi, he's like, over there. He just kind of points. And he looks in surprise, flips the mask up to hide his face, and he goes, withdraw, as he runs away. It's like, oh, there he is, that's him. It's like, why are you having such a hard time identifying your own brother? And you see them all just prostrating themselves before Kyoga going, brother, your majesty, it's been a while. It's like, what happened with Sen province's troops? I received word that they got close to Kuto but then retreated. What in the world is going on? And he goes, father betrayed our nation? He passed away? It's like, what, Lord Sujin? You have Taejun going, my father is dead? And Judo's like, you two didn't know about your tribe's rebellion, and therefore you will not be punished. Be grateful for His Majesty's mercy. And you have one of the old ladies from the village going, Lord Taejun, may I ask how my son is doing? Is it, oh, the child I saw earlier? I'm sorry, I haven't prepared the herbal bath yet. I'll do that now. And Kyogo's just looking at him surprised, going, Taejun? It's like, forgive me, but I have a patient who needs immediate help. Excuse me. It's like, you, what? It's like, what is he saying? Our father is dead and our tribe's very future is uncertain. And you see Suwon going, excuse me. shall we watch and see how Lord Taejun is doing? And you see in the little clinic all the soldiers attending to all the patients, putting hot compresses on them and so on. And you see Kyoga just kind of grimacing as he covers his mouth and goes, is this some sort of disease? And Judo's like, Majesty, you mustn't go in. This seems to be the clinic. And you see Suwon going, this seems to be the clinic that Lord Taejun established. And you see Kyoga going, he's no doctor. What does he think he's doing? And Suwon's like, there aren't enough doctors. But why is Taejun doing this? And you see a trump as he runs by with a basket load of laundry. Jamming, and you see zoom. And you see Kyoga giving chase going, Taejun, what do you think you're doing? He's like, oh, brother. He's like, sorry, but too much laundry is piled up. He's like, is laundry more important than the current state of the fire tribe? He's like, no, but without enough clean clothes and bedding, the disease will spread. And you see him just getting a little wash tub right and ready to wash the clothes. He's like, is this really my cowardly younger brother? He's like, I thought I ordered you to wipe out some bandits. And you see as he's scrubbing the clothes, he's like, I'm still on the lookout for them. He's like, then why? You are a general's son. Why are you doing this? He's like, this isn't something I want to do. But if by doing this, I can protect a single fire tribe citizen, what choice do I have? It's like, you think this will protect our citizens? Proper rule through government will protect our citizens, fool. And he's like, someday this land will... And he goes, someday is too late. And you see, Grandpa! And you see a little kid as the guys collapse nearby. And you see Taejun without a moment's doubt just dashing over to check on him. And Suwon goes, wouldn't you say he's doing interesting work? And you have, Your Majesty, please, you mustn't touch... sorry, what? Missed a page? Yeah, I missed a page. And you see that he grabs the old man on his back and starts going off with him. You have, Lord Taejun! Lord Taejun! And you see one of the soldiers he's giving orders to one of the soldiers. And you see them going back to the clinic where you see them helping out, handing out some water, some hot soup. And you have Lord Taejun is cleaning up fire tribe villages and establishing clinics. And you see Suwon's kind of crouched down to take over where he left off, cleaning the laundry. You have, Your Majesty, what are you doing? It's like, wouldn't you say he's doing interesting work? And Taejun's like, Your Majesty, please, you mustn't touch that. And he's like, this is quite strenuous, isn't it? And you see, I'm surprised to see you doing all this personally. And Taejun's like, it's nothing. It's like, it's wonderful. It's like, no, not compared to, it's like, to whom? It's like, oh, no, it's like nothing. You have Lord Kyoga, what's the matter? It's like, well, it's just that I thought I understood both the fire tribe and my younger brother. And you have Suwon going, everyone in this land knows and respects your competence. You're a little biased, that's all. You have Lord Kyoga, please come to Kuto. He's like, are you imprisoning me? It's like, no, I'm not. You are the fire tribe chief. That decision's already been made. I want you to come to Kuto so that you can study different possible ways to govern. The archives of the palace have documents about all our tribes. They've been preserved throughout the ages by the Sky Tribe. We have a scholar whose life has been devoted to them. From here on, the fire tribe must be our equals. And Lord Taejun is like, yes, are you talking to me? It's like, I want you to return to Saika. He's like, what? It's like, you need to protect Saika Palace as the acting chief while the general is away. He's like, me? Acting chief? It's like, but the villages. It's like, naturally your work here will be continued by government offices. The Sky Tribe will do all it can to assist you. And you see Suwon just kind of beatifically smiling at them as he goes, I'm eager to see your tribe's strength grow. And you see later Taejun's just sitting on a rocky outcropping, contemplating. And Kyoga walks up and goes, so much is happening. I'm a general now, but none of it seems real. Even what father did. I haven't found the strength to even scream or weep. It's like, why didn't he tell me what he was doing? And how did I fail to see it? How could I live with this much regret? And you barely seem fazed. Have you forgotten our father after not seeing him for so long? Taejun goes, I could never forget him. We chased after him for too long. I never cared whether or not father was the Crimson Dragon King. And whatever his crimes, whether he was a traitor or not, and then you see him just starting to cry. He goes, he was my father and I loved him. And you see later on, Lord Taejun. It's like, Seedol, what is it? It's like, this was just delivered. It's called Isa grain. It's like, Isa grain? And you have Suwon be like, what's that? He's like, who are you? It's like, don't be so insolent. This is... He's like, no, it's fine. Do go on. And he goes, this grain comes from Sen province. It's apparently resistant to both cold and arid climates. It may even grow well in our lands. It's like, oh, I had no idea Sen province had such a grain. It's like, it's for you, Lord Taejun. Someone who knows a great deal about plants wants you to grow it in a safe field. He's like, who asked that of me? And you have him going, oh, it was Yona and... And Taejun just goes absolute gremlin mode, just screeching and clawing and trying to make a fuss to cut him off. I was like, did you hear what he said? And Suwon's just like, no. And Taejun's like, oh, thank God. And you see Suwon is once again taken aback as he thinks of her. And you see, Your Majesty, preparations are in order. Jeff, good work. Well, shall we get going? Our next stop is Sen province in the Kai Empire. You have chapter 75, 3 conditions. And Jeff, I believe this is the first time we've met in person. Lord Ri Hazara, thank you for assisting the fire tribe. You see Hazara's got one bandage over one eye. And yeah, so this is Suwon, ruler of Koka. I'd heard he was a young king, but he's paler than I'd imagined. Is this man the commander who won that battle? And he goes, so, let's skip the stuffy introduction, shall we? The other day your troops invaded our kingdom and took part in a battle to take down Kuto. Your co-conspirator Kang Soo-jin, the fire tribe chief, died in battle. I've already dealt appropriately with the fire tribe. Now Lord Ri Hazara of Sen province, what will you give us as reparation? And he goes, do you want me to offer you my head to go with Kang Soo-jin's? He goes, perhaps. And the soldier's like, what? It's like, you're here looking for Lord Hazara's head? As they draw their swords. And he goes, there are 3 things I want from you. First, you must compensate us for the damage you caused our nation. Second, you must enter a non-aggression pact with Koka. And third, you must cede some territory to us. One of the villages near our border will suffice. He's like, huh? A village? It's like, right. Just one? Yes. It's like, one village? I expected him to demand a large portion of our lands. It's like, whew, very well. It's like, what is he playing at? Is he from the same mold as Il? If so, then I have nothing to fear. All I have to do is gather up my forces again and make another strike at Koka. And Suwon goes, with that settled, there's no need for further bloodshed between our nations. However, if you violate the non-aggression pact and bring war to our borders again, I won't hesitate. You'll be met by more than just the sky and earth troops. I'll gather soldiers from all 5 of Koka's tribes, and I will take your head. Choose wisely. You can see that Hazara is completely shocked into silence by this. Jeff, Hazara looked pretty pale. He probably underestimated the king. Just as you did not long ago. He's like, shut up. It's like, it looked as though Hazara was injured. Did any of our soldiers injure him in that battle? It's like, I heard no report of that. Jeff, it was probably bandits. And Guntae's like, Your Majesty, I have to ask. Don't you think you went too easy on Sen province? You should have taken far more money or land. And he goes, heavy shackles breed resentment. Koka and Sen province share a border, and the Kai Emperor can't easily intervene. So we need our relations with Sen province to be as smooth as possible. It's like, so why ask for that single village? He's like, I want Isa grain seeds. It's like, Isa grain? It's like, it's the staple crop of Sen province. It grows well even in harsh environments, so I want it introduced to impoverished villages in the fire tribe. Rather than only acquiring seeds, I thought we'd do best to have people who know how to farm the grain and their crops. And Judo's like, so that's why you visited the villages in Sen province before the meeting. It's like, I'm surprised you knew about that grain. He's like, oh, I just heard someone mention it. And he's like, oh? And you see Suwon kind of clopping away As Guntei goes, well, that's Sen province taken care of. And Judo's like, And hopefully the fire tribe will come back stronger. And Guntei's silent for a minute before he goes, in the battle, I intended to cut down Sujin. And Judo's like, I know. So you weren't very enthusiastic about it all, were you? Despite all that noise you made to work yourself up? He's like, I see. You saw through me. It's like, I never saw eye to eye with Sujin. He was too much of a schemer for me. But when King Junam ruled, there were battles where I relied on Sujin's strategies. Having a former comrade become an enemy leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Dealing with him should have been my job. I pity the citizens of the Fire Tribe. And but as His Majesty said, we should unite the 5 tribes. And you see them taking off, galloping to chase down Suwon. And you see Wind Tribe, City of Fuga. You have, yeah, that's still not good enough, Teiyu. And you have, okay. You have Wind Tribe Chief Teiyu. You have Young Chief, Elder Chief Mundok. You have a, yeah. As Teiyu tries to jab at him. It's like, what was that for, my lord? He's like, how do you always dodge me, Hongdae? So don't call me my lord, it's embarrassing. And you have Mundok going, what is it, Hongdae? It's like, word is that General Kang Sujin died in battle the other day. A non-aggression pact has been formed with Sen province, and Kang Kyoga will become the new Fire Tribe chief. And Mundok's like, Sujin's dead, is he? The Wind Tribe could only watch this battle unfold. We were told to stand by, but if Sen province and the Fire Tribe were going to invade Kuto, I was planning to fight them. It's like, I thought you hated King Suwon, Teiyu. It's like, Lord Huck and Rina were apparently killed on the road by pursuers. It's like, I don't plan to cozy up to the king, but that doesn't mean I'll abandon the capital. I'm a general now. I will defend this nation and all of you. It's like, but come on, do you really think that Lord Huck died? It's like, no way. Mundok's like, I'd murder him myself if he let himself be killed. He's like, listen everybody, Lord Teiyu said some sentimental stuff about how he'd risk his life to defend you. It's like, really? He's so respectable these days. It's like, you don't need to tell everyone, I'll stab you. And you see at Water Tribe's Suiko Palace, yeah, I see, Sujin has passed away. It grieves me that I'll never see that serpent-like face again. You have Water Tribe Chief Ah Jungji. You have the Earth Tribe has strengthened its bond with the king, and the Fire Tribe has fallen to him. Now, the question is, can this young king save the Water Tribe? You have Lord Kyoga as the Fire Tribe Chief now. So Lord Kyoga, huh? I expected the general's family and their Fire Tribe soldiers to all be executed. So, but it wasn't the royal regiment that killed Sujin. It was a Fire Tribe soldier. It's like, hey, remember those bandits who showed up during the battle? It's like, yeah, they were like monsters. Did you see the girl they were protecting? Her hair glowed red like fire. It's like, does that mean... Maybe I imagined it. There's no way the late princess could have been there. But the thing is, I was fascinated seeing them. Somehow they looked like the legendary Crimson Dragon King and his protectors, the 4 dragon warriors. It's like, perhaps the legend wasn't referring to Lord Sujin and the Fire Tribe. It's like, maybe. The legendary Crimson Dragon King and the 4 dragon warriors looked like them. It's like, impossible. You definitely imagined that. It's like, yeah, you're right. And you see later on with Yona and Co. going, Yun, how are everyone's injuries? It's like, well, it's like we're completely healed. And you see Gija trying to like sparkle and stand up, and he's just covered in blood as Yun's wrapping him up with bandages. And he goes, liar, when the whap slaps him on the head. He goes, Gija, you're the most severely injured and exhausted. Get some rest. It's like, you're dreadful at pacing yourself, Gija. He's like, what? That's not true. And Jaeha's like, you're always in the front lines and constantly attack at full strength. If you keep being so reckless, you'll get yourself killed. He's like, I would gladly live my life to protect Her Highness. It's like, then there's Huck and Xena, who are barely scratched. And you see Xena be like, Xena was just cheering everyone on. It's like, honestly, as one of the 4 legendary dragons, you need to be more. And you see, Xeno protected me. I can't fight, so Xeno stood in front of Yona and me with a shield. He was working hard. And Xeno's taken aback by this unexpected compliment as Yun says, thank you. He's like, wow, you think Xeno's reliable? You're making him blush. It's like I didn't really have high expectations. You see Huck's over nearby bandaging up his arm. As Yona says, Huck, let me help with your bandages. She goes, on the battlefield, I saw Gulfan. The falcon you and Suwon raced together. He's like, oh, I'd forgotten. And as she grabs his hand, she squeezes and kind of lays her forehead against and goes, thank you for staying with me, Huck. And as she does, she kind of just grabs his hand and kind of clenches his fist and he goes, I'll always follow you. It's my job. She goes, you must be hungry. I'll make something to eat. Make sure you unseason the food, okay? You're so mean. You see Huck just kind of looking at his bandaged arm, looking up at the sky as Hawk's kind of like flying nearby. And you have Yun going, today I'm going to make some money. It's like, make some money? And you have Chapter 76, Drifter's Market. And you see them heading to like a farmer's market thing as you see people cooking up some vegetables, measuring out some grain and things, laying out some carpets. It's like, wow, there are all kinds of stalls here. It's like, I hear this market only operates for a limited time. Traveling merchants and other travelers can freely open up shops here. It's like, what are you going to sell, Yun? It's like, medicine as usual. I've picked up a lot of medicinal herbs. They don't cost anything. It's like, also, this is important. I'm sure you're all aware that we're poor. They're like, yeah, we know. It's like, we managed to get meat by hunting, but I'm sure you want some rice, salt, weapons, and clothing. It's like, we do! It's like, so what I'm saying is we need to do all we can to get money. So I want you to attract customers. They're like, what? It's like, isn't it better if we don't stand out? It's like, that's a huge priority. But there are lots of merchants and traveling entertainers from other countries here. So even if Sinha's in his strange mask, I don't think people will give it much thought. Sinha's like, strange mask? It's like, but I've never attracted customers before. And Yun threatens them by going, if you don't bring anyone in, you're not getting anything to eat. And they're all like, off we go! And he has like absolute control. It's like, I never imagined he threatened to starve us. What a terrifying special technique. And Zeno's like, food. It's like, without Yun, we'd never survive daily life. It's like, what's the best way to draw in customers? And Jaeha's like, leave that to me. He goes and starts flirting with some girls and starting to pick them up. As he brings them back, he's like, thanks for buying. And Hawk's like, he sold something. It's like, amazing. And Jaeha's like, I got 2 customers. What do you think? It's like, you have some curious techniques. How did you do it? And Gija's like, you whisper this, or no, he tells Gija, you whisper this in a girl's ear. Gija blushes like, I could never say something like that. And Yona's like, huh? What? What? And Huck's like, you don't need to hear that, princess. It's probably some corrupt spell. And Jaeha's like, you two. Other than your strength, you've got nothing going for you but your youthful looks as he grabs, Gija and Sinha. He's like, come on, smile. It's like Sinha just tough it out for 3 seconds as he takes off his mask. And you see Sinha with just like this dead-eyed, creepy-ass stare. And Jaeha just kind of like blushing a little bit. It's like, we got 3 customers, chatter, chatter. It's like, what's the matter, Sinha? Come on, raise your head and show us your eyes. As he's just holding the mask out of reach. It's like, give Sinha's mask back before he loses all trust in people. It's like, there, Gija and Sinha work really hard. Praise them, Yona. So Yona just patting their hair going, there. It's like, he said 3 seconds. It's like, was I helpful? It's like, Zeno bought some young ladies too. It's like, oh, good for you, Zeno. You see Zeno just with this old grandma on his back, and he's piggybacking around. And she's like, she's a real beauty. And she tells Yun, like, my rheumatism's dreadful. It's like, oh, then you'll want these leaves. It's like, young man called his young ladies. It's like, since we've got such a big crowd, more people should come on their own. And Huck just goes off whistling, going, oh, I'll just go check out some weapons. And Jaeha's like, hold it. You haven't bought in any young ladies. It's like, why do you only want women? It's like, I just want to see how many people you can reel in. It's like, Yona, do you mind if Hawk talks to other girls? And you have a little cloud bow saying, in other words, he's bored. Do you have, huh? Why ask me that? He's just attracting customers, right? It's like, that's sort of true. There, Hawk, you have permission. And Hawk's like, listen. It's like, no food. Is that what you want? It's like, yeah. He wanders off. And you see him going off to talk to an old man nearby selling some spears and weapons. And you see he ran off to talk to an old man. It's like, oh, but... And you see as Huck's talking to him, he's gathered a crowd of admirers as they all follow him back. It's like, I bought someone. It's like, that's way more than someone. It's like, whoa, hey, mister, are you by yourself? Where are you from? What do you do? So would you like to stop by my shop? It's like, what's this line for? Eee, what a hot guy. It's like, Huck's really something. You have, anyway, line up and buy something expensive. And you have, okay. And you see Yona going, Yun, how are you doing? And he's just thrilled with all the sales he's making. It's like, we could live off this for a while. It's like, this is definitely the way to capitalize on their looks. Yona's like, all right, I'll attract some customers too. He's like, oh, you don't have to, Yona. Sit right there. We don't want some weirdo kidnapping you. And you see a nearby merchant going, care for some apples? They're from my stock. It's like, thank you. He's like, are you drifters? Where are you from? And Yun's like, we've been all over, really. We just came through Sky Tribe lands. The Sky Tribe, eh? They were just battling the Fire Tribe. Did you get caught up in it? It's like, oh no, we dodged it. It's like, that's good. Here the Fire Tribe has a new chief now. It's like, that's right. Tribe Chief Kang Kyoga and Acting Tribe Chief Kang Taejun. And Yun just spits out his apple in surprise. The patoo. He's like, what's wrong? It's like, nothing. And Yona just smiles and goes, I hope things get better for them now. It's like, you said it. Things haven't been safe there for a long time. I felt awful for them. It's like, speaking of unsafe places, Water Tribe territory has been pretty bad lately. It's like, aren't Water Tribe lands among the kingdom's most beautiful places? I thought it was lush and water-rich there. It's like, that's true. So I'd like to go there someday. Has something happened? It's like, I don't know any specifics, but there have been strange folks in those parts. Businesses can't operate freely. It's like, well then, your intel's unreliable. When your intel's unreliable, it's best to steer clear. That's what my intuition says. And you see Yona just kind of looking nearby the chatters. Huck's still surrounded by a gaggle of admirers. And someone's like, hey, what's your name? It's like, huh? I'm just a medicine seller's assistant. Do you have any health troubles, ma'am? It's like, could you give me a checkup? It's like, I'm not a doctor. And Yun's like, this isn't a host club. He's like, hey, I'm attracting customers here. And he turns around and is like, if you're not buying anything, you'll have to leave. He's like, okay, then I'll buy something. Throw in something extra. It's like, they want something extra, Yun. And she's like, I'd like a hug. It's like, what? That's not fair. It's like, sorry, but that's not a service we provide here. And Yun's eyes just light with cash. Hugs for your cash. Like, that's simple enough, ma'am. He's like, hey, don't sell my body so cheaply. And he's like, fine. He just grabs her in close and just gives her a glompy hug. It's like, ee, I'm so jealous. And you see Yona just going throb. And she's like, clutching her heart. It's like, me next. It's like, no, me. It's like, just buy something. And you see Yona just be like, what was that? And you see Yona, Jaeha comes up to her like, you shouldn't walk around alone. It's like, sorry. And he sees that she's looking a little bit perturbed. And he goes, if you don't like that something extra, you should speak up. It's like, huh? No, that's not it. It's like, are you sure? It's like, you're right. It was a bit unpleasant. It bothered me a little. I was surprised that I felt that way. It's like, please don't tell Huck. It's like, why not? It's like, I shouldn't feel like that. If Huck ever fell in love with someone and wanted to... Oh, my sweet child. And wanted to go be with her... And then I acted like a child and selfishly told him it made me sad. There wouldn't be anything he could do. I shouldn't mind stuff like that. I think maybe I've been taking it for granted that Huck would stay at my side. I need to keep it together. I was like, shall we get back to Yun? And Jaeha's silent for a minute before he goes, it'll be all right. Huck is already yours. She smiles and goes, staying at my side is basically his job. And you see a thump as poor Jaeha goes, my dragon blood sure is noisy. It's like, I wish it wouldn't confuse me at moments like this. Oh, we got some drama. You see later, Princess. Like, huh? Huck, what are you doing? It's like, well, I finally get to stop bringing in customers. I'm taking a break. You see him just hiding in a vegetable stall. It's like, anyway, you can give me some spending money. Want to take a look around? Yeah, sure. So I'm going around checking out some grilled meats and some clothing and some weapons. And you have, Huck, what's that? And you see, huh? oh, it's a gambling archery, and you see a guy nearby just drawing back a bow. It's a gambling archery? It's like you bet on which part of the target the challenger will hit. It's like, ooh, hit 2, yeah! It's like, you're awful at this. It's like, it looks like fun. And Huck's like, hey, you accepting challengers? It's like, you bet, we've got no one lined up next. And Huck just grins, like, this young lady's gonna give it a go, as he pushes Yona up. He's like, what, this girl? It's like, hey, Huck. It's like, is that a problem? It's like, no, not exactly, but a little wisp of a thing like her? It's like, can she even draw the bowstring? It's like, it's her funeral. And Yona's like, huh, I can at least do that. It's like, oh. It's like, hey, is that real girl really gonna do this? Bet she doesn't hit at all. It's like, I bet 1,000 rin that she misses. Then I'll bet 2,000 rin that she breaks down crying. And Huck goes, I'll bet 100 rin on one. It's like, Huck, you're unbelievable. It's like, one's a bullseye. Are you serious? It's ridiculous. It's like, it's an awfully low bet. It's like, it's all the money I have. It's like, poor thing. You can buy 2 meat buns for 100 rin. It's like, saying something like that? What if I miss? Yun would be angry. The target's farther away than I thought. So what's the matter, girlie? If you want to quit, now's your chance. Do you have your highness? Knock 'em dead from Huck. And she goes, Huck is watching. She grips the bow, goes, I can't embarrass myself in front of him. And you see a thunk as it hits dead center in the bullseye. And you have to, no way. And Huck's like, did you see that, fools? Isn't my girl amazing? And you see him smiling happily and peacefully the first time. It's like, what are you bragging about? Curse it all! My 2,000 rin! She's like, oh, it's been a while since I've seen him smile like that. Lately, his smiles have seemed sad. I wish he always smiled this way. I need to do my best to make that happen. So we have chapter 76 end. Alright, so with that, the Fire Tribe Rebellion War came to an end with the whimper, not a bang. But yeah, honestly, I wasn't expecting to. I think I expected to like drag out at least for a volume or so. But I guess with how we've been, kind of, with what we've come to learn about Suwon, is kind of like understated. It's understated, like hidden brilliance, I guess is a better way to put it. I guess it wasn't too surprising. Of course, you'd have plans within plans within plans to try to like put the rebellion down as quickly as possible with minimal casualties. Not too much to say about that. A little bit of a tragic end that the seeing Kang Soo-jin's arrogance kind of bringing him down low with one of his soldiers eventually kind of landing the killing blow to make the bloodshed stop. Felt like a twinge of pity towards him when he's like, I wanted to do this for my children because they looked up to me, but I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, this entire volume, I guess, was like a good showcase of like, what you think might be best for, your people, the people you care about, the people you're in charge of that look up to you as a leader may not necessarily be, the best thing, the thing that's in their best interest. And so you have to kind of be able to, find out what that thing is and kind of bring it to fruition in the best way possible. So I like that. I like the little bits of like maturity you kind of saw with all the various groups, where Yona's kind of like not as hung up. Like there's still a little bit of like, regret and sadness whenever she sees Suwon, but you can feel the maturity and like how she stood up to Soo-jin and, told him off for being a shitty leader and how, she kind of was just like, show the appreciation for what Suwon was doing, like his tactical brilliance in the battle, kind of just, walked away to fight the battle another day, so to speak. So I like those little moments. I like that Huck still hasn't fully found kind of closure with, his betrayal and everything else, and he's still struggling with his emotions related to that. So I liked those little bits. I especially liked the little bits, I think the best parts of the chapter were where you see Kyo seeing how much Tae-jun's matured, how much he's grown up, like how he's becoming a lot more selfless now, and how he's finally kind of had his eyes open to, the detrimental state that his entire kingdom is in and how lacking he has been as a ruler. So those were kind of good moments to see the characters bond. And, Suwon kind of also being, kind of contemplative, taken aback by how much Yona has also matured. Like that. Also, like the little romance development we're getting at the end where Yona's starting to realize, she's developing feelings for Huck, but she's still a little bit too immature and naive to kind of place a name to the feeling. Like she knows she's feeling something, but because of the nature of the relationship, the fact she's still kind of mooning over Suwon a little bit, she doesn't understand fully, like what her feelings for Huck are or what she wants to define them yet. So I thought that was really adorable. She's like clutching her heart when she feels the throb. She's like, "What was that? Am I having a heart attack? Like, what's going on?" That was really cute. So looking forward to it. So I'm guessing we're heading to the water tribe next. So I'm interested in seeing what that's gonna look like. What the culture and everything there is gonna be like, and like what other developments we're gonna see. I'm also interested if we're gonna get like at least a glimpse of like the larger narrative picture, because right now kind of like slowly plotting forward. I kind of want to see like at least a hazy picture or idea of where the larger story is going. But yeah, especially I think that's about all I have to say. I was gonna mention something about the tigers, but I'm glad the tigers weren't like actual tigers. I feel like that would have been a little too much. So like the whole illusion trick of like, oh no, it was just the tiger skin pelts and things putting on there. Was really cleverly done. I like that. But I think I've mentioned this a couple of times. Very at the beginning, like the magic stuff still kind of feels extraneous to the story, given how much everything else is grounded in realism in the series. So I'm wondering if that's going to be integrated more into the story, into the larger narratives at some point, because right now it's still kind of like a weird outlier, especially when you see them like running into battle, just mowing down troops with like the dragon claws and the abilities. It's kind of like, all right, it takes me out of it a little bit that you have basically super soldiers going around in this otherwise kind of grounded story. So it'll be interesting to see the development on that. Well, like I said, good volumes. Yona still very good, kind of like slowly ramping up all these little threads and narratives and the character and plot development. So enjoyed it a lot. Like I said, I'm going to get to volume 14 today as well. Hopefully sometime early this week I will also get to volumes 15 and 16. After that I will try to get back to doing the 2 volumes a week or so. And hopefully by mid to end of October, hopefully I'll be caught up with Yona and be able to start some new projects then. But keep an eye out on the channel for that. As always, if you like my content, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'd really love to get to the magic 169 subscriber number sometime soon. And until next time, this is Ash. I will talk to you all later.